welcome to Tour Truck Tuesday. Once again, Chris Trott here. We are on the TaylorMade trailer and I am joined by the captain of this ship, Mr. Wade Liles. Welcome, Wade, to Tour Truck Tuesday and TrottieGolf.
Good to see you again, brother.
And you, mate, and you. So, guys, hopefully at this point you've been diving into your loft sleeve, which in turn you will have noticed knocks off your grip and the alignment, and it changes how that thing sets on there, especially if you've gone, you know, all the way around to stand it upright. You'll flip the grip completely the other way, and if you have a rigged grip, that's going to cause you some real problems. So as you explore the golf club and as you dial in the numbers, that in a tour situation would then bring you into the truck, and you'd come and see Wade, and then we'd readjust your grips accordingly. But Wade and I got chatting. We understand not everyone has a tour trailer available to them. So I am going to hand over to the man, the myth, the legend. This is the guy that makes golf clubs for Tiger Woods, Dustin Johnson, Rory McIlroy, you name it, he's made them. And we're going to give you a step-through process, step by step, as to how you change the grips at home if you didn't happen to have your PGA Tour card and a tour trailer at your disposal.
Okay, so let's talk tools first, because of course you're going to need some. Certain tools are not that expensive, so that's not going to put you out of the bank if you have to go buy these tools. The first thing you're going to need is a hook blade. So of course these you can buy at any home improvement store. It's a carpet knife or a hook blade, and of course you're going to need a razor blade to put it in. So that's the first thing you got to have when you're doing this process here. Second thing you need is one of these shaft clamps. What this is going to do, we're going to be able to put the shaft in here to protect it, to hold it when we do apply the grip. The next thing you're going to need is a trusty vise. Most man cave guys' garages already have a vise in there, so this is pretty key. So you got to really have a vise. I suggest you guys have a vise. That's very good. Also, you're going to need some type of heating element, either a blowtorch or a heat gun. This is going to make it much easier to peel that tape off.
When you get in there, you can get away with, and you see it sometimes, players, Michael Gligic did it, he put it on social media, the PGA Tour player. He'd put his clubs against the side of a floor or a wall and he'd slide them on. But to Wade's point, if you're going to get this perfect, which we all want our clubs to be, the vise is key.
The vise is key. And then you're going to need some type of solvent or liquid to put the grip on. What we use out here is we just use a normal mineral spirits. It's not that abrasive on your hands. It doesn't smell that bad. And once you put it on, you can work with the grip and straighten it out if you need to. So once again, buy that at your local hardware store. And what we're going to do is I've already put some of the mineral spirits in this little $1 squirt bottle. This is how we're going to apply the solvent. So the first step we're going to do is we're going to apply the shaft sleeve here onto the shaft. So now I'm going to be able to put this in my vise and tighten it a little bit so it's not going to move when I do the grip application. And the last thing you need, of course, is double-sided tape. Trottie is going to grab me a roll of double-sided tape right now. That you can buy at your local golf store, your Dick's Sporting Goods, your Golf Works, wherever you can go to get some double-sided tape. And they probably even sell it over at your local hardware store. So what I'm going to do is just put this in the vise. Not everyone's got a $1.4 million tour trailer they can do this on. So the key part here is just barely putting any pressure on it. You don't want to break the shaft, just barely put a little bit of pressure on it.
What I'll say at this point, you've obviously removed the grip before you've started. And something that I like to do is place a mark on the grip before you start, or get a visual of where that is. Now when you remove the grip with your hook blade, you're just going to make a nick in that. That's all you're going to do.
Sorry guys, that was Tiger again. Sorry Tiger, I'll have to call you back.
We're filming. Just going to make a nick in that thing right there. We're good. Just going to make a nick in that, and then from there you can peel the grip away and remove it. Don't go too far down that grip because you'll end up cutting into the graphite fibers. Not a good move. You don't want to do that. You're then in for a new graphite shaft. Once you've got your marker, obviously if you're experienced as Wade is, then you can bang that grip on, you know exactly the distance.
Yeah, so once you first get the thing started, you never want to gouge into the shaft. And once again, always go away from you. I've seen too many guys do it like this and end up cutting their hands. So what I like to do is just put the angle a little bit to the side.
So you don't damage that golf shaft.
You don't, because you do not want to dig into the fibers. So once you do that, this grip here is a little bit old on this shaft. So sometimes they will come apart. But as you can see, taking this off is fairly easy without damaging any of the graphite shaft. So as you can see there, we have the tape off. So now, if you don't have a torch, or if you do not have a heat gun, what you can do is sit here and do this process by taking the tape off. Sometimes that takes a very long time, especially if you're doing a full set of golf clubs. If you have a heat gun, you can apply a little bit of heat, but you don't want to apply too much heat to where you start damaging your graphite shaft. So if you just put a little bit of heat on there with a heat gun, what that's going to do is loosen up the adhesive on the grip tape, and as you can see now, it's coming off a lot easier.
This is an absolute savior. We change grips all the time on the tour. We'll change a set of irons in 15 minutes if the two of us are going at it, or three of us, and we'll have guys removing the tape going through this process. It's an absolute savior when it comes to time and when it comes to your hands as well, because this is the only piece that can be labor intensive and can cause you an issue. But you can see there, he's now got that perfect just through that description, and we're ready to rock and bang on the new grip.
So make sure you get all the tape off, because if you don't, if you have little pieces of tape, you're going to feel it under the grip. Okay, so now we have this one already prepped. I actually have the little dot that we put on there to show me how far the grip needs to go on. So the next step is putting on our double-sided tape. So what I like to do is just, of course, you're going to have stickiness. It's sticky on this side too, but we have to peel this off. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to peel it off, start the peel. And now I have my piece of double-sided tape ready to apply to the shaft. All I'm going to do is put that on there, and then I'm going to use the palm of my hand to roll it so we don't have any type of creases in the tape, which you're going to be able to feel.
Now when it comes to 3 or 4 tapes, there's a seam that's gone underneath. Wade's just put his finger down the backside of the seam there. If you're putting a second piece of tape on, it's important you get the flat piece, the start section, underneath the seam, because you don't want to build up the ridge in the tape. You're going to feel that as well. The next thing to remember, try and change grips. You should be dialed and in the grip that you like when you come to this process. You're a good player, you want to change them. If you start going from a tall velvet through to a multi-compound or a mid-size, then you're going to change the weight of the grip. If you change the weight of the grip, you change the balance point of the golf club. I've done a video on that, all about swing weighting, all about the golf shafts. I do not want to see you guys doing that, because it will change the way you deliver that golf club. So try and stay where you're at when it comes to grips and the weights.
Okay, and the other key thing about the tape is you always want to cover up the butt. You don't want any solvent getting into the shaft, because that could go down the shaft and then start breaking up the epoxy. So always leave yourself about a ½ inch and go ahead and squeeze it in there, and there, now it's covered up. So the final step is going to be applying our solvent. So what we want to do is, what I like to do is, if you have an old rag or a towel, you can kind of throw it on the ground to catch some of the excess stuff, or maybe a bucket. But what I like to do, when I'm at home doing this, when I don't have my trailer, all you want to do is just put a little bit of solvent on the tape. Then you want to put a little bit of solvent into the grip. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to move the solvent around a little bit. Make sure you coat the whole grip. And then we can just put that excess right there on the shaft. And now all we're going to do is just simply slide the grip on in one motion.
Now this is a round grip and we're putting the logo down. Wade's banged that on there. He's got this perfectly at 12 o'clock. Imagine there's a watch face. We have the club here in the vise, perfectly square, as if that ball to target line is down the side of the truck. However, some players, and we'll talk about it as the clock face, if 12 o'clock, as I look at the camera, is the middle, some players will want to offset, either go towards 12:30 or to go towards 1:30, 1 o'clock. Justin Rose would always like his grips 12:30. It's important the caddy knows the time. It's important you know the time. Finno, this one's for you. We've had these problems before when it's come to Tommy Fleetwood's grips. But you must come in and give the people changing the grips for you the right time to set those decal graphics to, because it can offset, for example with this grip, the align on the back. But some players want a certain face angle to create a certain shot. Key piece. I'm just going square on this. 12 o'clock, logo down.
And once again, I just gripped this. It's a little bit off, so I'm just going to manipulate it to where all the lines are going to be perfectly straight. And the key part about doing these grips is the butt cap sometimes is hard to get on. So once you put the grip on, give it a few smacks on the ground to make sure that grip cap is on there. If you don't put the grip on all the way, you're going to feel it really move. You'll have to redo that. But if you have the right solvent, the right tools, it should slide on very easy. A couple bangs on the ground. Here is one Regrip Driver for Chris Trott.
Perfect. Nothing to be afraid of. I really want you guys to learn that you can change these golf clubs. You can interact with them yourselves. Yes, I have the greatest club technician, club repair guy in the game of golf stood here helping me with this. But look at the tools that he used to get it done. Guys, if you like what you're seeing, subscribe and follow. Finno, hopefully I keep your subscription, even though you can't tell the time when it comes to changing grips. But again, I'm letting that go, and we'll see you next Tour Trip Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in. Wade, Liles, thanks a lot, buddy.